So this one's for the Supercars channel. There was an article on speedcafe.com where Declan Fraser was saying, there needs to be more for the younger drivers coming through to help them get into the main game. And you see a lot of that. There's not a lot of discussion about it, really. But damn it, now it's getting bright. We had a cloud over our heads. Not anymore, obviously. So, but he's had a really good run on the super cheap wildcard, and he may not have a shot in the main game for next year. Might not have a seat in the main game, and he wants one. But you've also got other drivers who've been in Super 2 longer, like Zach Best. There's actually a few good drivers that have deserved just as good a shot. Zach Best is probably the most sure shot, but then you look at Declan Fraser's effort at Bathurst with Craig Lowndes, that's probably going to be more important, really, for what looks to be the last seat in Matt Stone Racing. But the idea that the young drivers need to be helped to get into the main game, I don't think they really do. I think that when the money is there, or when the money's there, when the team's got a sponsor for it, and it's not about whether they've got a certain driver, they just they sign whoever's the best, whoever they think the best driver, they sign whoever they think is the best available driver. And it really just comes down to this same old, chuck the old drivers out, put the young drivers in. Not because he's any good, but because we think he might be good. And the older drivers aren't getting as they're not as good as they were before or whatever, and they're just fading away. But the way I see it, it's the way things work is you need to prove yourself in the lower categories, and once you've done that, you need to take that opportunity to get a co-drive at Bathurst in a competitive team that turns out competitive cars every year, like Tickford, Triple Eight, DJR, and Brad Jones Racing with their one car, and they should be able to turn out, like, you just keep rocking up, doing a good job, eventually the right seat will become available. You don't have to whinge about, I want Christmas today. That's pretty much what they're asking for. But another thing they're asking for is if you created a system where you said, we're gonna have a new young driver in every year. They already have that. That's just the way things are. They've got Matt Payne stepping in, alright? Declan Fraser, bad luck. If he gets into the seat at MSR, good on him. But you don't need more of them coming through, is what I'm saying. You don't need more young drivers. Sometimes every 6 years or something, you have a bunch of really talented drivers, Scott McLaughlin, Chaz Mostert, Nick Percat, drivers who just pop up, and Scott Pye, they really make a statement. And Scott Pye had to really work hard. He was unlucky for a few years, but he was doing a good job and got his proper break with Walkinshaw. DJR kept him in their wings because they knew he was good. Marcus Ambrose hung up the helmet early. They put Scott Pye in the car because Marcus said put Scott Pye in. And then a few years ago we had Jack LeBrock, Todd Hazelwood, Anton De Pasquale. Those young guys were given that opportunity. And That's just the way it was. That's just how it happened. If there was a bigger push than there already is to have young drivers coming in every year, like how many do you want coming in every year? There's only really one really good driver and every year, and it's hard to pick them. Teams usually end up going with who they've been watching, who they've been talking to. Maybe they've had him as a co-driver, like Cameron Hill at Premier. You know, you get your foot in the door and you start making that opportunity happen. If it became anything like AFL, where there was like, oh, every year there has to be this, it's just a lot of rubbish, really, because the fact is young drivers are coming in every year. Declan Fraser's saying that everyone needs to be, it's going to dilute the main game. There's not going to be the top talent that there should be, and he's almost asking for these 15-year careers to end. Oh, we're not going to have 15-year careers anymore, we're going to have 5-year careers, because next year everyone's getting dumped and we're putting all the young guys in, and the young guys are going to crash, and it's basically going to be Super 2. It's a lot of rubbish.